Hi everyone, in this video we're going to have a look at one of the more common components to a lot of modern websites, and that's a three-column split design like the one you can see here on this website. So you have three distinct sections or parts of the website, each with common components. So here they have an image, a small title, and a paragraph. And then if you scroll down you see the same sort of thing again, image, small title, and another paragraph. A different example on a different web page, same idea but a different execution. Here you have a background image, then a little image, heading and text and so on. And one more example, again slightly different, but again following the same general idea of an image, heading and some text. You see these a lot on various websites. Often they're used with pricing and sign-up plans, those kinds of things, or for testimonials. So if we jump straight back into brackets, I've created a new file here, and I've used the same sort of skeleton that we've used in the past. Just quickly going over it, we've got our doc type tag at the top, our opening and closing HTML tags, our head section at the top, which includes our title. We've imported the character set UTF-8, and we've linked to our style sheet. We don't have too much on that at this stage, and I've imported Lato from Google Fonts. Then in the body, I've got a heading at the top, an empty section, and an empty footer at the bottom. So there's not too much on this web page at the moment, just that heading, but we're going to go ahead and build out what we want. Okay, so I've split my window into two parts. I've got the code up the top here and my live preview down the bottom. This will enable us to have a look at what's going as I make changes to my code. So what we're going to do is we're going to work within this section here, and we're actually going to put three new sections, or we're actually going to use div tags for that, three div tags within this section. So to start off, I'm going to style that section so that we can see what we're working with. So over in my CSS, I'll start a rule for my section tag, and let's just change the background color, and I'll just change it to black for now so that it will show up nice and easily. And we can see on the live preview down here that nothing's happened. That's because we have no content on our section at this stage. So if we did add some content in here, we should see it showing up on our page, and you'll also see the color showing up there now as well. But instead of doing that, I'm just going to change the width to, let's say, 90%, and I'll change the height to 300 pixels just for demonstration purposes. So now that we can see, we have that block on our page. These three column designs, they're usually centered within the page that we're viewing them on, so we need to do that to this section as well, and we can use the margin property for that. Remember, we could specify the top, right, bottom, and left margins all individually, or we could use shorthand, so just two numbers, 0 and then auto in this case, which will specify the 0 for the top and bottom margins and auto for the left and right margins. This will automatically make sure that the left and right margins are equal, which effectively centers that section on the page. Okay, so if we jump back into HTML here, and we're going to work within this section that we've got, we're going to break that up using div tags that I mentioned earlier, and we're going to have three sets of these. So I'll go ahead and put in the opening div tag with a class name, and I'll call this one col-3. And within that I'm going to have, just to start with, let's say I'll have an h3 header, and I'll put some paragraph text in underneath that as well. Okay, at the moment we can't see anything on our page there, so I'll just jump back over into our CSS. I'm just going to change this, so instead of having a background color like that, we'll put in a border, and I'll put it with 3 pixels width, solid, and let's make the border black. So now we can see that we've got our text that was within that div showing up inside that section. So we've got our header here and the paragraph text underneath that. Now if we do some styling to this col3 class, we can make this a box within that section that we've got. So let's jump into the CSS again, and let's put in our rule for our col3 tag. So remember, this starts with the full stop, col3. And let's set, first of all, a width for this. So let's set to width of 300 pixels and a height of 150 pixels, let's say. And you can see in my live preview I've got this blue border around there, which indicates the size of that div. But for demonstration purposes, so we can see really clearly what's happening, we're going to put a border on this one as well. So I'll put a border of 2 pixels, solid, and let's make this one green. And now if I click out of that section, you should see the green border around that div. Okay, so let's go back over to our HTML, and we'll just duplicate this div a couple of times so that we've got those 3 columns that we want. So I can select that in brackets, and there's a keyboard shortcut, Control D, that will just duplicate that. And I'll just tidy up the formatting a little bit, and then select that once more and duplicate it again. So now you can see that we've got one set of div tags here with the class name col3, and then this is repeated with another set of div tags and a third one there. They all have the same class name, which means all of the styling that we've applied will work on all of them. And as you can see, we've got 3 divs there, but we want them going horizontally across the page, not lining up like that. So if we go over to our CSS and we change for the col3 our display property, and we change it to inline block, and this will enable them to line up on the page like that. Now if we go back up to the section, and remember this is the bigger section that we have here within which these divs are nested, if we change the text align property to center for that, it will automatically center the contents within it, and because we change this to inline block, it will center those divs within that section. Notice also it centers the text within each div. Already you can see that we've got the basis of a 3-column layout that's working here. We can just work with the margins at the top, maybe space these out a little bit in between. We could add an image in and some more text, and we'd be starting to work towards a good looking outcome. Remember, of course, you can totally tweak and customize these as much as you want. You could keep this border if you wanted, you could remove it if you wanted, it's totally up to you. Same with the borders around the divs here. Many of the examples that you'll find online don't have those borders, but some do. I'll leave them in for now, and then we can look at adding some drop shadow effects to that as well. Okay, I'm going to leave this video here for now. In the next video, we're going to look at improving the look of this a little bit and work with those options I was just talking about.